Hi guys, Wayne here again. I'm going to do a short video, just a short answer to, well, short's a relative term, an answer to a question that a gentleman on my YouTube channel asked. Stuart Fry asks, why hand scrape instead of lapping? You're using an autocollimator to check a hand scrape surface, but reference surfaces, granite, are lapped. Is it for lubrication to fill the low spots? No, it's not. Not with a straight edge or a surface plate. Obviously, with machine tools, you're fitting with scraping. Then a benefit is you would have the scrape marks for reservoirs for the oil to be trapped in. That's true, but not with straight edges, surface plates. No. Let me just briefly, lapping is well, obviously it's a different process than scraping, but the main difference is with scraping, you're altering one surface. You have a master that you've blued. You spot your workpiece to that master, and then you use a carbide or steel blade to scrape off the high points. Lapping actually alters the workpiece and the lap. So if you were to have a flat surface plate that you were using for a master, and then took the straight edge and lap it to that surface plate, you would destroy the surface plate. It would no longer be a surface plate. It would no longer be flat. It would not be any good. The reason they lap granite plates is because you can't scrape granite. It's too hard, chips. You just can't do it. So you have to grind, lap, polish certain granite plates that way. It's the only process you can do. Cast iron, no. Cast iron, you could lap. You can lap cast iron, and that's definitely one way to do it. Problem is with big things, now you've got a bull, I don't know, 80-pound casting, 100-pound casting, a 200-pound casting. You know, some point it just gets impractical. And then ultimately, no matter how careful you are spreading the wear over the lap is still going to wear unevenly, and you're going to end up with a lap that's not flat. So you have to flatten the lap. And the only way you can really do this is, and you think about it, you take a lap on a lap, you alter the lap. It's like an endless vicious cycle. So by scraping to a master, the master stays untouched. The master is your reference surface. And by scraping the straight edge to that master, that just works, you know. And that's the way they've the process has developed over the years. And I'm sure there's people that disagree with that. That's fine. You know, this is just my opinion. I certainly don't know all, but that's my opinion on why scraping is better than lapping. I mean, I lap stuff. And incidentally, just so you'll know, if you'll see people take sheets of 1,000 grit wet dry paper, whatever, put it down on a surface plate, wet it, and then lap a small object on that. That's okay, but even that alters the surface plate. You talk to any manufacturer of surface plates or a person that services them, checks them and have to lap them back into flatness, that destroys a surface plate, because no matter how careful you are, you get grit under that paper, and over months, weeks, you know, going over there all the time and lapping something, it wears a hole into the surface plate. It might only be 50 millionths, might be a tenth, depends how long it goes for, but nonetheless, so that's not really an approved process for a surface plate, really. I mean, yeah, they do it. It's just like it's just like they run Bridgeports in shops for decades with no lubrication. It's not the right way to do it, and it causes damage. And, you know, which you can, the guy come in, lap your surface plate back, and then, you know, it just costs you more money if you have to constantly service your surface plate, because you're lapping a hole into it with paper and work on top of it. But anyways, that's my feeling on why you don't lap things like straight edges and surface plates. you really need to scrape them. And in that spirit, let me bring up. Let me close myself off. Well, let me see. Maybe I can do this. Can I? I'm going to try something here. There we go. Hey, that worked. Cool. So here's a PDF I've got, and it's I'll put the link to this if I can find it again in the description of this video. But this is all about this little paper this guy did describing what flatness is and stuff like that. And this is actually the gentleman back in the 19th century that developed the first, British guy developed the first practical method of making and polishing accurate flat surfaces. And this is basically the process, and it's the 3-plate method. I'm sure probably most of you have heard this. Maybe you know what it is, maybe you don't. Oxtoolco has a great series of videos on making cast iron lapping flats, and he uses the 3-plate method to do it. And you can do this by lapping them together, or you can do it with scraping them together. And in this case, if you have, let's say, 48-inch square master cast iron plates, like more precision made, you ain't sliding them puppies around. And in order to lap, you have to alternate top to bottom, top to bottom. I won't go into the whole gruesome details why. Basically, when you're lapping something on top, something on the bottom, the object on top goes concave. The item on the bottom goes convex. And I've done this purposefully making optics. I've ground some telescope mirrors and stuff over the years, and that's how the process works. With making stuff flat, you have to alternate, now in addition to doing the 3-plate. So basically, with scraping or lapping, you use plate 1 as a master, and you scrape plate 2 to plate 2 to 1 as a master, and then you would scrape plate 3 to 1 as a master. And so at the end of this process, plate 2 would fit on plate 1 okay, plate 3 fits on plate 1 okay. But when you put plate 2 and 3 together, they don't match. So, and this is why you have to have 3 plates, is so you have to have a tiebreaker. You can scrape 2 plates together so they fit, so the glue perfectly, but they could very well be concave and convex. Whereas if you throw a 3rd plate into the mix, that is a tiebreaker, and you can resolve that issue. And then you take 2 as the master, and you would then scrape 3, but now you would scrape a little bit off of plate 3 and a little bit off of 2. And then you would so now you have kind of like this situation. You're not flat yet. You do have some errors, but then you go to like it says here, plate 1 does not agree with 2, plate 1 does not agree with 3, but plate 2 now agrees with 3. None is known to be flat. 2 and 3 are known to be flatter than 1. So now you've made 2 of them flatter. So then you go down to this this step here, and you would scrape in 1 to 2, again doing a little bit, and then when you're all done with this, you have plate 1 agrees with 2 now. Plate 1 no longer agrees with 3. Plate 2 agrees with 3, but none are flat, but they're all of equal flatness. And then the final stage is going in. You use the plate 3 as a master, scrape 1 to 3, again scraping them off a little bit. Each time you scrape 3 and 1 simultaneously, you bring them together, and they will be flatter. Might not be perfectly flat, but then you would take 2 on top of 3 and scrape 2 to 3, only 2. And so when you're done, you would have 3 flatter plates, maybe good enough, maybe not. If not, you go back up to this top up here, and you start over with 1 as a master, 2, 3, and just keep cycling through this whole sequence, the whole time converging on the flatness that you require. So that's kind of like my answer. I don't know if this qualifies as being short. Let me see if I can bring myself back. Yeah, here I am. So that is my answer. I hope it's not too convoluted, and maybe it's a little bit more than what I maybe should have done, but I thought it would be good to show this whole process. In fact, let me go back, show you the let me go back and show you that PDF again. When you're at this stage, let me see, which stage would you be at? Okay, so when you're at this stage and you're scraping 1 and 3 together, when you're scraping, you're bringing both towards flat. If you're lapping 1 on 3, you'll be working both, but instead of making 3 you'll be making 3 flatter, but you'll also be inducing some curve to it. Because remember how I said the thing on the bottom tends to go convex and the object on top goes concave. So this is where you would have to get into alternating one, that you do 1 on 3 for a while, flip it over, do 3 on 1 to try to even that balance, that change out. So that's again another reason why probably you should scrape instead of lap. Hope that answers the question. Let me know what you think. I've tried a new method of doing the videos. This is a piece of software I saw. I follow a Joe Coiffi. He's a meteorologist out of New York City. Does really good weather stream every night, almost every night, live stream, and he really goes into detail. If you're interested in weather at all, go to his channel and watch his videos. He'll learn a lot about what goes in the weather forecast, the different everything. It's amazing. But anyways, he uses this open broadcast studio, and I thought I'd give it a try for a little different feel to my videos. It seems to work pretty good. I think I like it. So anyways, thanks for watching. Ask away again if it didn't answer your question. I'll try to do a little bit better job. If it did, great. And I'm going to try to have another video up, not like this format here, probably the same software, but I want to actually do something with the reversal methods I started a year ago. Yeah, I think it's time to do that. So anyways, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.